Welcome to this explainer. What if I told you that modern mapping technologies have completely fundamentally transformed? I mean, they aren't just everyday tools for finding your way around anymore. Today, they actually act like a digital crystal ball. By leveraging GeoAI, that's geospatial artificial intelligence, we are quite literally predicting the future of our physical world.
It's a pretty fascinating question, right? Can a map actually predict tomorrow? Historically, a map was just this static record, basically a piece of paper telling you what already existed. But today, we're going to explore how maps have evolved from those dusty historical archives into incredibly dynamic predictive engines. And to really get how this works, we're going to start right in the room with you and then zoom all the way out to a planetary scale.
All right, Section 1, Navigating the Immediate Future. Let's dive in.
So let's start at the micro scale. Imagine an autonomous wheelchair trying to navigate through a busy hospital room. To predict its immediate path forward, it actually uses a single camera and a three-step process called SLAM, which stands for Simultaneous Localization and Mapping, to build a virtual map in real time. First, it maps the area. Second, it takes that data and converts it into what's called an occupancy grid. And third, it uses a star search algorithm to calculate the absolute best route forward.
This whole process brilliantly illustrates exactly how machines see the future. If you look at a basic occupancy grid on its own, it just shows raw unoccupied space versus obstacles. Pretty simple, right? But the magic happens when the A-star algorithm kicks in. It transforms that blank space into a mapped, predicted pathway. It's literally charting a course into the future before the wheels even budge.
Now, to handle the unknown and avoid collisions along that path, the system relies on LiDAR. It casts these digital rays, almost like a high-tech flashlight, scanning directly in front of the system. This allows the deep learning model to detect and predict obstacles long before the wheelchair ever gets close to hitting them.
Moving on to Section 2, Digitizing the Built Environment.
Okay, let's zoom way out, from a single room up to the macro level, where we're actually seeing deep neural networks predict the physical layout of entire cities from space. Using a dual-stage object detection network, GeoAI can look at raw satellite images and automatically extract highly complex building footprints. Essentially, the AI is up there drawing the map itself, pinpointing the geometric polygons of buildings with just incredible precision.
So why is this a massive deal? Well, for starters, this rapid footprint extraction completely replaces the old, incredibly labor-intensive days of manual mapmaking. By automating the extraction of these geometric shapes, urban planners can track spatial evolution at a massive scale. They can see exactly how our built environment is changing right this second, and much more importantly, they can forecast exactly how it's going to expand in the years to come.
Which brings us to Section 3, Designing Maps with GenAI.
You see, GeoAI isn't just about crunching raw data. Generative AI models are now stepping up to the plate as our new automated cartographers to actually design the maps. When you think about traditional mapmaking, it's static, it's reactive. But Gen AI mapmaking, it's totally dynamic, highly automated, and heavily predictive, tailoring maps exactly to what a user specifically needs. This generative AI is just incredibly versatile. It not only predicts the best visual style sheets and whips up minimalist map icons from a simple text prompt, but it can even act as a map doctor. This means the AI actually evaluates the map's design, spotting flaws, things like counterintuitive color choices or a missing scale bar, and then suggests improvements. It's making high-quality, predictive mapmaking accessible to literally anyone. All right, Section 4, Forecasting Global Spatial Trends. Now, we are zooming out even further to a true planetary scale. The integration of AI is actively shaping global geospatial trends for 2026, and it's shifting us entirely from reactive mapping to proactive risk forecasting. There is just an absolute explosion in GeoAI research right now, with predictive models being deployed to forecast things like extreme weather patterns, predict influenza outbreaks, and generally improve how we understand Earth systems. Here's the catch, though. To predict the future, you absolutely have to understand the past. One of the biggest mapping trends right now is treating historical imagery as a living, breathing data set, rather than just dusty files sitting on a server somewhere. By stacking timelines of historical data, organizations are actively training predictive GIS models to forecast environmental risks, coastal erosion, and climate resilience long before these disasters ever actually happen.
But of course, we need to talk about Section 5, the risks of prediction.
Look, with this immense power to predict the spatial future comes some very critical responsibility. We have to neutrally evaluate the privacy and security risks of these geo-foundation models using frameworks like GeoSafe. Just consider this direct quote from the research. A language model could potentially memorize home addresses from a pre-training corpus and disclose them to anyone who asks. I mean, the potential for accidental leakage of sensitive information is profound. So, really understanding this technology means acknowledging these facts head-on. Alongside their sheer brilliance in forecasting, these predictive models present very real risks. We're talking about potential model hallucinations, geographic biases embedded deep in the training data, and the unauthorized disclosure of private locations. These are serious hurdles that developers are actively researching as these tools push into the mainstream. Taking everything into account, the main takeaway from this explainer is crystal clear. From an autonomous wheelchair mapping its next 3 seconds using SLAM, all the way up to satellites forecasting global urban trends, the map has completely transformed. It is no longer just a record of where we've been, it is a predictive engine for exactly where we are going. As artificial intelligence continues to illuminate these unknown spatial pathways ahead of us, turning completely blank grids into navigated routes, it leaves us with one final, incredibly fascinating thought to ponder. As these predictive mapping engines chart the course of our cities, our environments, and our daily lives, where will you be on the map of the future? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and as always, keep exploring.